we have some exciting things that we're going to talk about. First, we're going to, review this video. I guess it's like a live reaction. I'm going to live react to Piers Morgan video. He had actually a few guests on his show, and basically they were saying ships are racist. So they want them to take this logo off, a ship logo off one of the football teams or basketball teams. I don't know. It was some type of sporting team. But since they're in like the UK or England somewhere, we're going to talk about that because I think it's totally ridiculous for them to say this. But anyway, so we're talking about that. And then another thing that we're going to talk about today is President Biden and his elected administration. They have some new changes that's going to go on with the mortgage. So if you're in the market for a mortgage and you've been watching any of my credit videos, let me just pull it up, go to my YouTube studio. I have countless of videos about credit. And if we pull it up, I got about 101 videos, shorts and long videos about credit and business credit. So I guess you could just say whatever I told you, it doesn't matter anymore because the Biden administration is coming out with some social justice rules, and it's affecting the people with good credit. So if you got good credit, you're going to be penalized for it. If you have good credit, you're going to be penalized for it if you're trying to buy a house. And we're going to talk about that on the next half of the hour. Okay. So just a few housekeeping rules. Not even housekeeping rules. I just want to thank you all for tuning in once again. We're on the road for 25,000 to 25,000 subscribers. Right now, we have about 23.7. I think it's going to be 23.9 by the time we get done with this live stream. So it's 793 subscribers. So I'm trying to get to 25,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So please like, share, and comment on this video and share with your friends. On this channel, I talk about credit, business, and politics, and I'm on the more conservative side. So you'll get a conservative perspective. Okay. So that, and also I am not monetized. So if you decide to support my channel, support it by putting a comment. You don't have to send me no money, but if you feel like you need to send me some money, that's why I put my Cash App on the top of the screen. Okay. So that's very much appreciated. Good morning, GQ. Thank you for joining in. And also, I always want to shout out to those who have supported my channel in the past. And this was during a live stream last week. So D, thank you. I really appreciate for that $25 that you sent me. Now, if I sound like I'm slurring a lot, it's because I have a retainer in. I'm supposed to go to the dentist tomorrow, so he told me to wear my retainer 24/7, but I haven't been wearing it, so I'm trying to play catch up. So anyway, so thank you very much, D, for that $25 donation. So let's get to our topic for this first half. This is Piers Morgan. I don't know if you guys ever watched him. I think he's based out the UK, but people say he's pretty liberal. I'm not for sure, but the last few videos I've seen him on, he's been pretty, what do you want to call it? Conservative. I'm going to play this video for you guys because it's interesting that we always have people saying, especially our people, we always have people saying something is racist. And it's really out of control because we now been changing names in the last 4 or 5 years. We've been taking down statues, names, and and when I say names, I'm talking about changing names to a football sport or something like that. Because it had some type of racist connotation to it, you know. And maybe it hasn't. It's been like, oh, we're going to take down a statue because this person owned slaves. And it's almost like, okay, first, on one half, you want everyone to know that slavery existed. Then on the other half, you don't want people to know slavery existed. And when I say that is because you want to take down history that even dealt with slavery. Oh, we don't want to have this statue up because this person owned slaves. Well, that's part of American history. And really, it's a part of world history. Like some part of time or some moment of time, every regime has some form of slavery to it. And some was indentured servants, some was slaves, some was slavery. And you might think like Shawan, but it's a big difference. Black people went through so much. Yeah, Black people and every other race went through so much. So I want to play this clip for you. And it kind of irritates me. And Piers Morgan, he seems irritated, but he's not allowed to say he's irritated because he's white. But I could see his point because it was pretty ridiculous. So let's play this. Let's go to this clip.
Joining me now is the author and playwright Bonnie Greer, Talk TV contributor and lawyer Paula Rowan Adrian, and the podcast host of Across the Pond, Hotep and Jesus. Well, welcome to all of you. All right, Paula, let's start with you because I know what you're about to say is going to make me infuriated and it's going to be utterly insufferable.
Excellent.
These are two crests that carry images of sailboats.
Yes.
It's got nothing to do with slavery or racism.
If that's your opinion, then you're entitled to have it.
It's a fact.
Well, you don't know that, Piers, and the historians are being asked to look into that. And that's what should properly happen, shouldn't it? Because when you tell us about history and how important history is, what we want to do is to ensure that we have got this right and we are going to grow from this experience.
Yeah, I'm not growing from it.
We're not going to deny it.
I am growing from this experience. I'm growing very annoyed.
And I'll tell you why. Why are we annoyed?
Let me tell you why.
Why are we weary when we talk about slavery?
No, I'm not worried about that. I thought slavery...
tired when we talk about World War I or World War II.
Like everybody I know, I thought slavery was disgusting, and I'm very, very glad that everyone came around to their senses it was disgusting and that Britain actually led the way in ending the damn thing. Of course I do. Slavery was disgusting. However...
And I want to point out, okay, she got the dashiki garb, the African garb, and she's saying, oh, we want to investigate if these ships were actually slave ships. I mean, okay, you want to investigate, but if you want to tell somebody to change their logo, you need to do your own investigation. Why would you go to like, oh, those are slave ships? Now, if I was Piers Morgan, I would have been a total asshole about it. I would have told her, yes, in some point of history, these ships probably would have had slaves on it. Like, come on now. In some point of history, they probably would have had slaves because that was like their main transportation system back then. So what do you want me to do now? So we want to cancel all ships? Everyone stop using ships. To me, it just sounds ridiculous.
However, it turns out the historians say Manchester didn't adopt ships as an emblem until 1842.
Apparently
35 years after the abolition of slavery.
Yes.
So they would have had nothing to do with it.
And how do we know that? We don't know that. So what you are doing is you are taking one understanding of a situation.
So you're believing the historians that suit your narrative?
It's not what I believe, Piers. Let's be clear about this. We're having a debate, and that's what is important about
it's not, Paula.
It's to be able to have a debate about something that happened in history.
We shouldn't be looking at
humanity.
little pictures of ships on a footballer's crest badge. Who cares? It's got nothing to do with it.
Well, clearly, I'm sure the players at Manchester City and Manchester United, those who advocate, show racism, the red card.
No, here's what's going to happen.
They will care about it.
Here's what's going to happen. The Guardian, which has just been caught with its racism trousers down, right, because it turned out they were founded by a bunch of slave owners, right? So they're the last people on earth to be lecturing about this.
Is that right? Aren't they the right people?
No,
actually?
they're not. They're not. Because I found their hand wringing over that utterly ridiculous. I'll tell you why.
Well, they've apologised.
Every single family in Britain, if you go back far enough, you'll have people in their past, hundreds of years ago, who employed slaves, almost certainly.
And therefore?
And therefore, we know that was wrong then. Why should everybody today who had nothing to do with it, think it was all terrible, spend their entire time apologising for it?
And another problem is that Black people, and particularly these Black women, they wear slavery like it's a badge of honor. They want to own slavery. We were enslaved more than you. Literally, slave was a part of history. Slavery was a part of history. Okay, so we know Black people were enslaved, and then there were other races that were enslaved. But it happened throughout civilization. This is it happened throughout. So what Piers Morgan is trying to say, hey, do we have to continue to go back 200-300 years to apologize for people that don't even exist anymore? Do we still have to keep on going back saying, oh, this is a part, you need to take that ship off because it might have had slaves on it? That, to me, that's just so retarded. So if you want to have a badge of honor, I need all our Black ADOS, the people that's looking for a reparation, create a crest, a badge of honor, and wear a slave. Look, have two fists up together and put chains around the fist. That could be the badge of honor, saying I'm from the heritage of slavery. I mean, to me, it's nonsense. And then you're going to find out one of the ladies is from Chicago. You got people shoot 'em up gang style in Chicago, and you worried about a crest. To me, it's just ridiculous. There's more productive activities and more ways to spend money than to research this stupid badge.
It's about education.
Yes.
First of all, just education. And the second thing it's about, and you know this, we always rewrite history. We rewrote World War II because we found out about Bletchley. A person who grew up in the 50s would have a different World War II than a kid now because we found out about Bletchley. So we are getting more intelligent. And that's one thing.
No, you're not. You're not getting more intelligent. You get more stupid. To me, this is just retarded. Okay. Oh, we want to rewrite history. We want to tell the truth of the story, but you want to be a victim. You don't want to tell the truth. You want to be the victim because you want to be the most trauma-held, victimized person in the world. And that's what you want people to own up to. You want everybody to follow your lead. Oh, I can't do this. I'm such a victim. I can't do this. I'm such a victim. I was a slave once. I can't read because my great ancestors came on here on a ship. Just excuses after excuses. Okay, if you're a historian, you write a book. But stopping these kids from playing basketball or whatever the sport they're trying to do. If you're the historian, write a book and get it published. Don't try to, make other people do your research. You do the research. You're the historian.
that's happening. And I mean,
Bonnie, you can't be serious.
Hang on. And the
All
other
right.
thing, the United Kingdom was actually on the side of the Confederacy during the Civil War, and in fact was going to send a ship to the Confederacy to fight for it when it was stopped
All right,
and
who's going
warned by
to-
Lincoln
okay.
and paid an indemnity to the United States.
Who is going to pay me
Yes.
and my family reparations for what the Vikings did to us?
Well, I think you should seek it out.
Who's going to?
Explore
Who's
it.
gonna stick it out?
Explore it.
So
Seek it out.
literally,
Educate us.
so we go back over
Educate
every
it.
invasion,
Okay.
every
And this
bad
is what
thing.
and this
Hang
is
on,
what
let
upsets
me,
me.
let me finish.
It is the ideology
Let's try and have a
of
conversation.
denial.
No,
it's
it's
the
not.
ideology of
It's not, I'm
denial.
not denying anything.
It's not denying. Why do you say it's denied? If it's written in history, there's thousands and thousands of books about the atrocities of America, the atrocity of the Rome's, atrocities of Japanese culture. You know, all these atrocities existed. The Chinese culture, the Indian culture, and there's still slaves out there. Not in America. Well, there are probably some in America. They're probably. I wouldn't put it past that they have some people in those shipping carts and bringing them in. They just haven't found them yet. That's trying to get, Chinese people that's trying to get over here, or just foreigners just trying to get over here as immigrants, and since they couldn't pay their way onto the ship, they're in slaves until they could buy themselves out. They got to work in some type of business until they buy themselves out. So what is she saying? Literally, what is she talking about? Like, who you want everyone to have this reparations or look into it? It's like, we know it existed. There's atrocities across since civilization has been, thought of. It's all types of atrocities. So what are we getting at? I just don't understand that.
Thing happens.
So then let's deal
No,
with it.
what I'm
Let's
saying
address
is
it.
once you start this woke rampage, there is no end. A bit like the statues of historical figures.
But we
They're
don't-
all...
but-
Guess
but-
what? Hang on,
don't-
let me finish. Ladies, give me a moment. All historical figures are flawed. You can find flaws in Mandela, in Gandhi and Churchill. It's why they had to be boarded up, their statues at Parliament Square, so the mob didn't attack them. But if we take this route, everything, all the time, we have to be apologising, paying for...
But
why?
Well,
How does that move us on?
What's wrong with an apology? Nothing is wrong with that.
She don't want no damn apology. They want some reparations. They gonna be like, aha, I knew you was guilty. Now, time for reparations.
If you...
I'm very sorry that hundreds of years ago people behaved
It's
badly.
not anything to do with hundreds of years. We acknowledge it. We always do that. That is what history
Why
does.
should footballers have to remove crests that contain images of ships, which, according to many historians, were adopted as an emblem 35 years after slavery was abolished?
But Piers, it doesn't matter if it was 35 years ago or 35 years after the slaves abolished. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when they adopted the crest. Who cares? These ladies, they don't care when it's a ship. It should be canceled. He's trying to be too logical. He's trying to be too logical with two not logical human beings. They're so emotional attached. Oh, it probably had slaves on this ship. It's a damn, what is it called? Embroidered ship. That embroidered thing didn't have nothing on it because it's just thread. It's just a picture of a ship. Like, what is wrong with you people?
Well, it was abolished, but it wasn't over. Okay, and that's
So
the
all
point.
are all ships racist?
Well, no, we don't know that, but we need to investigate.
Are all ships racist?
We don't know that, but we need to investigate. Are all ships racist? We don't know that. We need to investigate. You just sound ridiculous. Like, does anyone feel the frustration like coming from this interview? It sounds so insane. And there's so many things that you could spend your time and resources on besides worrying about an embroidered emblem. Like this thing is literally made from thread. Somebody sketched out a ship because it looks like an old style ship. Oh, that looks cool. Let me put that on the emblem. What's wrong with that? This other one looks like the devil. So maybe they didn't want to honor the devil. So you rather have the devil on there, this thing, than a ship? What is wrong with you people? They need to change back to the devil. That's what they, oh, it's a soccer team, by the way. Or to them, football. But yeah, this is the devil, and he has a pitchfork. To me, it looks like the devil. So now it doesn't matter. So slaves, this might have been, but you can see right here, this is the devil. And this has a slave ship on top of here. So you're not worried about the devil. You just worried about a ship. To me, it's just ridiculous.
We need to investigate it. Why not? What's wrong with that?
All ships could be racist.
Why are you going to make a generalization about it?
You see how ridiculous this sounds?
That's a ridiculous point, and you are.
All right.
You are.
All right.
You
so
are.
you think
and
we should,
I think the Irish should talk to the Norwegians.
No, honestly,
I think the Irish should talk.
And also the Italians and the Romans.
Why
Wow.
not? Why not? Why not?
What's going to happen about the Romans?
Why not? Why not?
I need reparations for what Rome did to us.
I think the Irish should talk to the Icelanders.
It's
because
preposterous,
it was a slave.
Bonnie.
No, it's not preposterous. It's good dialogue.
No, you know what it is? Here's what it is. It's exhausting.
Well, that's different.
Honestly, this woke mentality is so exhausting. I feel myself literally getting tired as I listen to it.
Try being a black female.
You shouldn't.
I am sure being a black female can be wonderful. I can have its challenges.
We don't need to have this kind of
Trust
argument.
me, walking around being me ain't no better roses
either. If you're
either.
talking about being exhausted, it's the exhaustion of the pursuit of knowledge.
Let me bring in our very patient third guest from across the pond, Hotep Jesus. Hotep, you've been listening to this. I'm under attack here.
Nah, no.
All right. Hotep, my general point is this.
Well, before Hotep speak, and you think Hotep will be like, oh, gun-ho, black people, white man, white supremacy, blah, 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 blah. No, he's totally like common sense knowledge. These ladies, and you know, and it's kind of funny because they start laughing while he was talking because they know what they're saying is ridiculous. But I want to get to one of these chats. Star-Lord said, question, what happened in your life to where you see differently than these women and others like them? I don't know. Well, you know, I debate with my sister all the time, and she turned out totally different. She's like some of these crazy ladies, but she's more extreme. She just thinks white supremacy is everywhere. You can't even paint your walls white, and she won't go ballistic. So my sister is very different, and I don't know what happened between her and I, but I just see the world differently than she does. I mean, it's just, I think the more you read and find out about different stuff and how things work, and the more you travel, you become more eye-opening to certain things. And I think I just got a different view. And not to say that my sister is bad or anything. It's just, she just views just like these women, a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Is no common sense to what they're asking at all. So Hotep, he's about to school him, and he kind of said the same thing I kind of mentioned before. They spend a lot of time on stuff that doesn't make any sense. You know, you could spend more time on, teaching kids how to read, you know, volunteering at a school. So he's about to talk.
I think slavery was horrific. I think if you basically chart back from almost any family in Britain and America, you'll find some evidence somewhere that someone in the family probably was employed in using slavery when it was going on. But I just don't understand the point of this constant series now of recriminations, reparations, apologies, guilt trips, and so on. I don't know what point it serves.
I worked at a tech company once, and we know how rife they are with leftism. And in casual conversation in the office, I said, you know, I want to be a national master in chess one day. And this white girl said to me, she said, don't you feel offended that they used the term master in the title? And I just looked at her like, you know, that thought never crossed my mind. The same thing if I were to go to the harbor and I would see a ship, I would not think of slavery.
Right.
There's a huge fascination with slavery amongst Black people where our educational system, our upbringing has tied us to this travesty in human history and made us want to identify with it instead of identifying with richer parts of our history. Now, here's the issue that this comes down to.
Before he gets on, you know, to say what he's trying to say, he's quite intelligent, you could tell. And I wouldn't have been able to voice my opinion about that, because me, I would have been so frustrated. Like, woman, are you stupid? Like, so I'm glad he's on the show versus, you know, somebody else screaming and hollering. So they put the right person. He speaks eloquent. He knows how to put the words together. Unlike, you know, me, I'm from the hood. So, you know, so it's what he was saying. To have this badge of honor, you want to identify as a slave. I've been a slave more than you have, or longer than you have. It's like, that's who you are. It's like, no, that's just a part of history. That's not who you are. Let's get on.
Women are going to see the world, frankly, different from men. Women are very emotional. So, of course, they're going to be worried about, you know, what's on the badge and all this stuff. When we look at the UK, right? The UK has about 4 million starving children right now. And that doubled since the past 2 years.
My brother, hotel.
Do you think that children that are hungry care about some badges? They can't eat football badges.
Right.
You know, what leftism does is they try to sidestep the real dilemmas and worry about all of these frills on the outside, on the exterior.
Well, you know what, Hotep? Let me
not getting
just,
to the root of the
Hotep,
problem.
apart from saying that you've made two really good friends here with your women get too emotional.
One from the south side of Chicago.
Look, one from the south side of Chicago, and you worrying about a badge. You need to be worrying about fixing your neighborhood, and why y'all keep on voting the same type of administration in your neighborhood. And they laugh and they think it's a joke.
And I'll let you three deal with that after the show. But
really impressed.
I've got two things to say to what you just said. One is there was a genuine debate in Australia several years ago because an academic went on the airways and claimed that chess, which you just talked about, was racist because the white pieces went first, right? And I remember thinking at the time, the only time anyone in the world would think that that was the case was if some academic decided to pop his head up and go, it's racist. Nobody actually believes chess is racist for that reason. And secondly, on your second point about current things, I read today that there are between 7 and 8 million slaves in India alone at the moment. Now,
Correct.
Now, if the Guardian newspaper wants to launch a campaign against slavery in India, I'm all in. I'm all in for any current slavery going on anywhere in the world. I will join that campaign. But going back several hundred years to a spurious argument, which turns out may not even be historically correct, about badges on football players where they show ships, therefore all ships are racist and therefore they must be removed, to me is preposterous.
Well, they did the same thing here in America. They wanted to remove Aunt Jemima from product packaging. They want to tear down statues. They're tearing down Lee, Robert E. Lee, I believe his name was, famous
family
general.
wants that to happen, brother.
A whole bunch of people are involved in what Jay-Z has a quote. It goes, "Moral victories are for minor league coaches." When you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of things, you look at more important issues than just badges on a football uniform. I just don't get it.
Do you know something? You just used the phrase nitty-gritty. That itself has been banned now.
No.
Yeah.
it's not.
Yes, it
it's
has.
not.
No, it
it's not.
hasn't.
No,
Banned
I have seen
bandits.
people say
Well,
that is a
bandits.
racist term.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
no.
and historians
Listen,
have told them that they're
I'm
wrong.
sitting
Right.
here.
So
I'm
you accept
sitting
that
here-
these historians who pop their head up saying all this stuff can be
Because it's been
completely
researched
wrong.
and
First of
it's
all,
been
I want to
debated.
get your collective reaction to the suggestion that this is really a female thing. That
That's-
you women are a little over emotional
That
about
is,
badges.
I've never heard
Yeah.
a man say that for a long time.
Right.
Come on now. You hear men say that all the time. And a lot of times when these race issues come about or people get canceled, it's probably a white female or female typing behind the Twitter account or whatever account trying to cancel somebody. Oh, this person said this 10 years ago. And you pulling out emails and stuff like that. A person saying racist remarks. Or even Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart almost got canceled years ago because his kid had a birthday party, a 2-year-old birthday party, and it was cowboys and Indians. And he actually apologized for that. He had a cowboys and Indians themed party, and he actually apologized for that. And a lot of times, who's bringing this crap up is more likely it's a woman that's so sensitive that doesn't operate on logical sense or common sense. They're operating, oh, racism is generational trauma. It's generational trauma. I can't carry this trauma with me for all centuries. Like, come on now. You never was a slave. And like the younger people, they probably never experienced racism in their life, but they're carrying on that trauma because somebody told them, somebody like this, you know, you was a slave. They put you in chains. Like, when are you going to move forward and stop wasting time on the internet talking about some BS? And you're from Chicago.
So that's,
I think that's
an hour.
Well, in the internet fair play,
that's
what is your response to
And I would have
Hotel?
liked to ask him what he thought about the American football clubs who have changed their names because they referenced various.
I'm going to tell you, he don't give a shit, just like 99.9% other men. They don't give a crap. They just want to watch football. They don't care if it Indians, what it was, the Washington Redskins and Indian Chiefs, was what, not the Indian Chiefs, but Washington Redskins, and was it the Kansas City? No, the Kansas City Chiefs are still called the Chiefs, but it was some other football that they had to change their name. They don't care. Most men, they don't care about that. They just want to watch football. They're not. Men is not going like, let me see if this team has any racial connotation. Like back in the day, they was treating football players back in the 60s, earlier than that. They didn't get the equal pay. So yeah, so you're gonna cancel football? You're gonna cancel all sports because back then they didn't have equal pay? That was racism. That doesn't make any sense.
Members of society who didn't think that it was appropriate that they should be called those names. We have rugby clubs who have changed their names because they didn't think that it was an appropriate.
But we're not
thing to
talking
call
about
them.
we're
So
not
when we
talking
look
about
at-
potentially inappropriate or inflammatory names
So-
which have evolved over years. We're talking about
But it also went with the
images
emblem.
of boats.
Well, it also went with the
They're
emblem.
boats.
Well, I know what
We-
they are, but it's what they
can I
represent.
just say-
Piers.
Yeah, Hotep, come in.
Yeah, please, Hotel.
Yeah, because she wanted to know my opinion on, I
It's
believe
Paula.
it's
It's
the
Paula,
Washington
by the way.
No,
Commanders now.
we have names, brother.
I'm sorry.
We have names,
say that again.
brother.
Who's the sister that
My name is
addressed me
Bonnie.
about the
This
football?
is Paula.
We're sisters
Now we're
now.
sisters. That's so nice. Thank you. Proceed.
Sister Paula?
Proceed.
It's Bonnie.
Okay.
It's Bonnie and Paula.
From the
okay.
south side of Chicago.
Love y'all. Great
Okay,
energy.
brother, keep
and I'm
going.
on your side. But when I see a
side is
football
that?
What
team
side is
change its
that?
names
Yeah.
to Commanders, you know, I'm like, what is that?
Are you insulted?
It's a
Do you feel
joke to me.
insulted? Do you feel insulted?
Well, Commander is
No,
surely,
no, I don't
surely
feel
Commander
insulted.
is also.
I'm
do you feel shaken
No,
up?
but surely here's the
No,
point.
no,
Hotep,
it just, it's,
Hotep, isn't the word commander itself? It doesn't that suggest, white supremacy? Because most commanders around that time were white.
And you're
so
named
you change it to something that
you're
also
na-
is racist.
and
There
you're
is
named-
no word you can
and
use.
you're named after an Egyptian pharaoh. So give us. Are you offended by all of this or what?
I'm not offended. Why would that's the whole thing? People are offended by the name of the team.
By people wanting,
I'm not offended.
You're offended
no, I'm not
by
offended.
people. Listen, you're offended by people who want to actually pursue an injustice from the past. It's not a strange thing. It's not unusual. It is not
I'm
unusual
not.
thing for human beings to
You
do.
can't conflate those two things.
Oh, I'm doing it.
I am. I am for that.
Okay, let
I am
Hotep
for
respond.
that.
Yes, sir.
No. What she said is just inaccurate. She tried to conflate two things. She tried to say I didn't care about the travesties and conflate that with something about the football team is going to change that.
Right.
No, I agree with you. There are real issues that need to be dealt with. Changing the football team is basically not tackling the problem.
Exactly.
You're ignoring
right.
it. It's a way to waste time. It's a way to waste a budget.
If we admit to, and this is in psychoanalysis, that there is such a thing as generational trauma, okay, it does exist. It does exist in families, and it can exist in a people. Now, I'm not going to go all the way and say, do this, tear statues down, because I don't think taking a statue down solves anything.
You're going to go after the badges on football.
No, I'm not going to go after badges.
We're going after the debate.
But the
Piers.
debate is okay.
There is no debate.
There is a debate.
Listen.
There is a debate.
This goes back to the gender conversation.
Everyone hold their horses. If that isn't a racist term. I don't know. Maybe horses get offended.
Well, if you keep saying it might be.
Here's my point, Paula. Everybody is offended by everything. And so
I
once
don't agree with you,
you assume that we have to start feeling guilty for our past, there is no end to it.
Who's
I
talking
think
about
the Irish.
guilt?
I think the
Who's
Irish
talking
should
about
go after
guilt?
the
That's a very
Icelanders
emotional term
because
to
the Irish were
use in a
enslaved
debate.
by Iceland. I think they should do it.
It's a
Why
very
not?
emotional term to use in a debate.
All right. What I would love to do is have a campaign to close down The Guardian. I think that would be hugely popular. I think because of their outlandish links to the slave trade, The Guardian should fall on their own virtue-signaling swords and close themselves down as a matter of they should cancel themselves.
Yeah. So, yeah, you guys, I think it's just totally ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. For me, I believe I saw so many hypocritical actions by my fellow Black people that I started questioning them at an early age. Yeah, it's hypocritical. You get a lot of people say, oh, we want to build up the Black community because the white man did this, the white man did that. And then when you get somebody trying to build the Black community, you have the same people trying to tear whatever they built down or trying to rob them or try to do something. Or you'll get some, like, say, for instance, you open up a business and try to get people to support you. You know who's not going to support you? Your own people. Your first sale will probably be from somebody white. Your own people won't support you. So, we say that we want to build a strong community, but when somebody asks us, for some food or help, you see all these kids running around. How about you read to some of these kids? You see all these kids running around here. What are you doing to help your own community? So you get the same response from these people. They want to be on TV talking about, oh, this badge is racist. But if you go to that community, it's messed up. Like that lady, I'm from the South Side of Chicago. You shouldn't even mention that. That doesn't mean anything because Chicago is effed up. Chicago is crazy. Yeah, Hanging AZ said, in the real world, I think most Black folks have other things to worry about, just like everybody else. They do. They have a lot of stuff to worry about besides a damn badge. And that brother Hotep, you see, he mentioned that they in the UK, they got 4 million kids that's starving or can't read. Now we talking about kids they're supposed to be at school level reading, and they can't read. So what they're talking about badges. You can't, like he said, you can't eat a badge. But they're on Piers Morgan saying the badge is a ship is racist. Just really ridiculous. Really ridiculous. And we need to stop acting like slavery, that was all what our history was about. It's not a badge of honor saying you was a slave. That's not a badge. To me, that's like okay, what's your point? Like you're so wanting to identify, or that's your self identification that you was a slave. As to me, that's just totally ridiculous. Those grifter ladies needed something to complain about so they can get the grift money. Probably so. Yeah, that they wanted to get something to complain about. So, like I said, this ship type of thing, you know, we're complaining about that. You see the ladies complaining about that. But I think we have more problems in our community that we need to focus on than a badge that's in the UK. And if you're an historian, okay, you write a book about slavery and publish it. But don't waste other people's time, because there's more pressing issues out there for Black folks than to worry about if this badge is racist or not. Or if this slave ship, this particular slave ship, which is a badge, has slaves on it. Probably so. So what are you going to do then? That gets me to our next problem with our liberal, I guess, justice system. When Biden is on the road to make, what is it called? He's trying to even the playing field. And it's going to affect those people that got good credit and the people that is trying to or in the market to buy a home. It's going to affect you. And it's all about the mortgages. So before we actually talk about what he's doing, and it's something to do with federal backed mortgages, I wanted to read this for you because it kind of gives you what the federal backed mortgages does. So we could kind of unpack what it actually does. Okay. So when you're in the market to buy a home and you get an FHA loan, and I don't know if you might know this or not. If you put 20% down, you don't have to pay a PMI insurance. But if you pay less than 20% down, there's some type of PMI insurance onto your note. Now, federal backed mortgages typically help those people or those individuals with lower credit scores. So if you got like maybe a 580 credit score, you could get approved for a mortgage or a loan. And with the FHA loan, you only have to put 3.5% down. So it makes the home more affordable. So those mortgages before this time came about, before we knew what Biden was trying to do, they were backed by the federal government. So it was like insurance put on the mortgage. So if the individual falls behind on their mortgage, or they were not able to pay, they go in default or foreclosure, that lending company was able to coop some type of money. Okay. So the FHA loans is the low down payment requirement. Let me enlarge this up. It helps for low and moderate income borrowers to qualify for home financing. They also come with a lower credit score and down payment requirements. It's possible to qualify with a medium FICO score as low as 500, though most FHA lenders requires at least a 580. So another significant benefit is a low down payment requirement for FHA mortgages. The minimum down is only 3.5% if you have a credit score of 580 or above. If you have below this, you need to put 10%. So keep in mind, you must pay a mortgage insurance premium. However, if you put 10%, you only have to pay this for 11 years of your loan. Otherwise, you'll have to pay it throughout the entire of your loan repayment. Now, they just started that. Prior to, I think in 2012, it was you only put 3.5% down and you exhaust the PMI insurance out. You only pay for, like, as long as you get your balance under the 79% loan to value. It has to be 79%. Okay. So anyway, so now you have to pay it to its entirety. So now the mortgage insurance FHA includes the upfront cost of 1.75% of your loan amount plus an annual MIP of 0.45% to 1%, depending on your loan amount. Okay. So then you got the USDA loans and the VA loans. Those are all mortgage-backed loans. Okay. So now that we explain or we know what mortgage-backed loans do, and actually it was funded by the government, they were backed by the government. Now, however, they want you to back them. So if you have more than, let me show this to you, share this screen with you. If you have more than a 680 credit score, you're going to be paying more. Biden administration is calling income redistribution is an abiding value of Biden administration. And now it wants to spread that to mortgage lending. This new rule will raise mortgage fees for borrowers with good credit to subsidize higher risk borrowers. Under the rule, which goes in effect May the 1st, home buyers with good credit scores above 680 will pay $400 or $40 more each month on a loan, or on a $400,000 loan. They said about. They don't know. They said about. Upwards, depending on the loan size. Those who makes down payments of 20% on their home will pay the highest fees. So you're getting penalized, number one, for having a higher credit score, and you get penalized if you put 20% or more down on your mortgage. So, and they are using that money so the person with low credit score and didn't save their money they're going to use it to subsidize their no. In turn, it will give them a way to buy a house. So basically, you paying partial to help these people buy a house. This is the socialization of risk, and it flies against every rational economic model while encouraging housing market dysfunction and putting taxpayers at risk for higher default rates. The 20% down payment is a financial discipline that encourages buyers to seek homes that they could afford. Now, when I say you paying higher fees, so you're saying you're paying 20% down, and then there's some fee associated with it. So you'll have to put more down, whatever the fee that's associated with. And then on top of that, you get penalized $40 a month. It's a fee that you have to pay a monthly fee to somebody else's house, basically. That's basically what he's saying. Do you guys see a problem with this? Because right now I'm getting pissed off just reading it. I'm getting pissed because I was disciplined enough to save my money, and I want to see that money that I put in, that 20% down that I put in, on the equity of my house. And now I'm going to have a nest egg because you penalized me because I put 20% down. So that's like $500 a month or $500 a year that you're paying extra to subsidize somebody with bad credit. And I'm not talking about people with bad credit. Yeah, owning a home is the American dream. But why do I have to pay for it? I just don't understand. Are we going to save money on our taxes? What's the benefits of me buying a home right now? What is the benefit of me purchasing a second home? I don't see any benefits. I should just get bad credit just to purchase a home, so I won't have to get penalized. I won't have that fee. So the 20% down payment is a financial discipline that encourages buyers to seek homes they can afford, and it gives buyers skin in the borrowing game. No one wants to default on their mortgage when they could lose tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity they built up in their home. That's true. That's why you say the 20%. But why are you penalizing me for saving 20%? Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Sandra Thompson, we got to remember that because she's the one who put this shit together. Sandra Thompson. Y'all remember her name? Because to me, she's a I wonder how she did this rule. She a black lady. I wonder how she did this. Oh, most black people got bad credit, so we're gonna get social economic justice. Like, really, woman? Like, come on now. You think all black people got bad credit? So we gonna have social justice. We gonna make these white folks pay for our mortgages, and it's gonna end up backfiring on them. This is going to be a bad thing, because now you're going to really mess up the housing industry, because then you're going to have these people not really want to buy a home. They might as well rent or stay in their current home. Why would I want to get a new mortgage if it's going to cost me after what? The rates is already up. I think the rates is 6.5% right now to buy a house. What's the rates right now? Let me show you this lady right quick. This is Sandra Thompson. She's getting social justice. That's what we electing out like, oh, we're gonna vote for these people because they black. These black people, if you a civilized black person, you should be voting for him. This does not make any sense, Sandra. Sandra, you done lost your damn mind. Sandra is crazy. So why would I want to buy a new home or invest into a second property? Mortgage rates, 7.15%. So for you got above a 680, you gonna be paying 7.15, 8 almost 9%. If not that, you probably even be paying more. You probably gonna be paying more than the 9%. This is the mortgage rate, you guys. I just looked it up on Google. Of course, it's gonna vary to the lender. Let me get to some of y'all comments. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know if we should pay more because we trying to help people out. Joseph Young Jr. Credit, do I have credit? Laugh out loud. I bought my house back in 93. Then about 2016, I sold it to my twin sister. Now I might buy a house again, but I want use my credit card or do straight cash. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do straight cash if you can, because they're going to penalize you. If you get a note on it, you're going to be penalized. You're going to be penalized for wanting to buy a house. Sandra gone cuckoo. Sandra gone crazy. Sandra done lost her damn mind. Like you like literally are going to get penalized for buying a house and you got good credit. Because she trying to help people out that got bad credit and bad discipline. So let's read on. The Biden administration may want more ownership, but selling people houses they can't afford has never been a good idea. See the subprime loan collapse in 2008. So what this article is basically saying is if you have good credit people subsidizing their mortgages and they still make a lower down payment, they have a lower rate probably, and they're saying that the rate will be like 1% or 2% less than the normal rate. Will these people go in default anyway? Will they still have the discipline to own a home and keep that home up? Will they still be able to afford the home? You know, so if you're still not able to afford it, the home more likely will go into foreclosure or default. It doesn't matter who backed it up, because you're selling them more than what they could afford. So the FHFA regulates federal mortgage grantors, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which are backed by taxpayers. The rule is meant to make housing more affordable, but goosing demand for homes at the lower end of the market will drive the price up more in the short term. I don't know what that means. The Biden administration may also end up harming other home owners down the road. Many high-risk borrowers brought in under the plan will buy homes in low-income neighborhoods. The working-class families who already lived in those neighborhoods worked hard and saved for their homes. If their new neighborhoods default and face repossession, nearby home, this is what happened in Detroit. Nearby homeowners may see their property values fall. And this happened in Detroit, where people had these mortgages, really wasn't disciplined. The banks was giving out mortgages more than what they could afford, and they were defaulting on these home loans. And people that decided to keep their home, they reaped all the benefits of the price dropping. And then you had a whole bunch of people in homes with upside down mortgages because their volume of their homes decreased by 60 to 70%, even 100%. Progressive, this is what this article says. It says Progressive wants to reduce the importance of credit scores for mortgages, but such scores are designed to measure the comparative risk. The fees and questions, which are generally called risk-adjusted guarantee fees, have historically been used to compensate the agency for loans with higher risks of default. This is not a penalty on low-income borrowers who can get good credit scores by demonstrating consistent ability to repay debts. High-income borrowers can end up with less stellar credit score by overspending, being flaky on recurring payments, or mishandling high credit balances. And I do agree, just because you have low income, that don't mean you have good credit or that you don't have good credit. I mean, some people that's real disciplined, they don't make that much money, but their credit is good. The biggest problem here is fairness, and it's not fair. Taxpayers already subsidize mortgages for low-income borrowers through the Federal Housing Administration. Now they punish those who have maintained good credit while rewarding those who haven't. In the name of making housing more equal, they are pursuing an inequitable policy, and it is. Let me know your thoughts on this. It's an inequitable policy. Joseph Young Jr., I used to work for Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac Loan Company at MGIC. I didn't back end and front end of the closing loans. Well, they got a new policy because Sandra rewrote it. They're going to be like, what the hell is going on? I wonder how they're going to roll this out, because it doesn't make any sense to me. How will they roll this out to people? Yeah, just because, and how would that go over? Now, people that's not really paying attention to like the news and stuff, you're going in to get you all excited. Oh, I'm going to get me a house. I saved my money down. My credit score is good. I'm about to buy my dream home. And you get there and they pull out this, the FHA sheet, the worksheet, and they go over what your fees and your loan rates will be and all that stuff. And you're the lender. You're like the mortgage broker, and you have to go over with it. You have to go over these fees and all this stuff with it's not going to be a happy ending. People are going to get pissed off. They're going to be pissed off because you told them yesterday that they're going to be paying X amount of dollars on their mortgage, or 7% on their mortgage. And it was hard to wrap their head around that. But they were like, oh, yeah, I can still afford it. I can still afford it. But when they go to the closing table, you're going to be paying 9% instead of 7%. You're going to pay 9% instead of 7%. And it's like, okay, so I'm getting penalized for having good credit. I'm going to pull up a mortgage calculator for you guys to see. Let's just calculate this together, because this doesn't make any sense to me. This is the mortgage calculator. So say, for instance, we want a $300,000 home, interest rate 5%, but we want to change our interest rate to 7%. We get in a home, we closing in what? We say August, but whenever we're closing. Our mortgage payment is $1,300 a month. Affordable. Yes. That's affordable for us. Say it's affordable for us. Now, but this is just your base mortgage. This doesn't include any financial fees or whatever. But we want to put loan amount. We said we put 25% down. Is that what that is? Or 20% down? That's 30% down. So let's say we're going to put 20% down. 20% down of that is your loan amount would be $240. So your payment is $1,597 if you put 20% down. $1,597. Now, but on the day of closing, they're gonna say, oh, actually is 9%. Your mortgage rate not only went up, then your mortgage rate is going to go up. They said 1.75%, something like that. Then on top of that, you're going to have to pay $40 a month. Of extra. Does that make any sense? And this is just your base mortgage. This doesn't include any, what is it called? Insurance you have on there. State taxes. You still got to pay that. Usually if you're a first-time home buyer, well, I would suggest putting that in your mortgage payment so you won't forget it, lose your house on taxes. So that doesn't include anything like that. And usually that adds about maybe $700 to $800 on your mortgage payment, depending on what state you live in and what county you live in. Oh, they got monthly property taxes, $400. Let me see if that changes. I don't know if it's in this calculator, but anyway, so that's what you're gonna pay right now, as of today. If the rates are still 7% and your mortgage goes up to 9%, you're gonna be paying like $300 to $400 more. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments section. We exhausted our time today. It's 1:11. I was up here. I wasn't going to talk about this. I was going to make it a separate video, but to me, this is ridiculous. We got to figure out, we got to get this administration out of office so we can redo this stuff. Because I don't see how that is helping the American people. That's not social justice to me. That's just like you just taking money out of my kids' we can't go on certain vacations because I got to pay more on the mortgage. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So that was it for our video today. You guys stay tuned tomorrow. I think I'm going to talk about what am I talking about tomorrow? We might be talking about this guy that I saw on the plane and where American society is with kids and how they feel about kids. I don't think America like kids anymore, because we're talking about, you know, with the whole abortion thing, where the school system is. We don't really care too much for kids these days. And to me, it's kind of a tragedy, because the kids is our future. So I send all my good to you. Yeah, Joseph, I think I'm an hour ahead of you guys. I'm in Detroit, so I'm sending all my good to you, and I will talk to you soon.